100%. Yeah.
So what are you going to do? Not going to do it. All right, Vikes. Tough Thursday night. One of the worst games, one of the worst ass kickings we've had in a while. We don't usually get our asses whooped like that. But the news, though, God, it just keeps getting better and better. Last night, Anthony Edwards, 3 minutes into the game, gets kind of like a breakaway layup, and then the Pacers call timeout. Fine, we're cooking in the trees. I mean, who could be luckier than us? And then you come back from the timeout, and who was it? Was it Bones that came in for him like right
Bones
away?
came in. Yep.
You're like, wait a sec.
Hold on. That's not it.
He's gone. And then I don't know, maybe 20, 30 minutes later, he's ruled out. He comes back to the bench, has the heat pack on. Then we find out today he's out 2 weeks, hamstring strain. So I guess it could be a worse diagnosis. 2 weeks, soft-ish schedule. Would have been nice for him to play this Denver game. But another injury thing, I know Krasinski tweeted something out where he's like, I saw him grabbing at it a couple times against the Lakers on Friday. And then here we are Sunday, like 3 minutes, and just it's the Wild West. Like, if you want to play, go ahead and play, I guess. But I don't know, man. How shitty of a situation is this going to be to deal with, Jake?
Obviously pretty shitty. I think it sounds like he's going to miss probably about 8 games. They are going to reevaluate in a week, maybe. So maybe we do get lucky. And since it's just young and a freak like that, he can come back faster. But at least it's a easier part of the schedule too. So I don't know. Obviously it sucks. But if we can limp through this at like a 500 schedule, I think we'll come out all right. And hopefully he's just back. And then we're good to go back on cruise control the rest of the season. But yeah, it's just sucks though. Just because obviously he's the best player in the league to me, the one I want to watch.
Yeah, it's tough, man. It's what a blow to start the season. At least they got the win last night. We'll see how they fare against Denver back to back tonight. But yeah, at least like if it's something serious, you just want it to be healthy. You want him to be healthy. You just want everything to be good. So like, don't even take any chances with him. See if TJ can step up. Jaden, this is his time to shine. Just kind of see where it goes. Hopefully he's ready sooner. But missing 8 games, like that's 10% of your schedule. So I think, like Jake said, you try to go through 500 through this. The schedule's a little bit lighter, so hopefully you can get some wins, and not get too far behind the 8 ball, as they say.
Yeah, this would be like the longest stretch he's been out in his career, and all we saw was like, hey man, he's no USA this summer, 3% body fat, in the gym every day, working hard, back spasm opening night, game time decision. 2 games later, he's leaving early with a hamstring strain. So it's just like, dude, maybe he was just always like kind of due for a little injury, like bad luck, based on like his whole career to this point. He's missed, you can just like each season, I don't think he's missed more than a handful of games, which is one of the strengths of having him. Like, the dude's always playing. And maybe that's what happened Sunday, is like he tried to play again and look what happened, and now it's like hamstrings. You can't really fuck around with that. But then also getting the 2-week diagnosis to me is like, if it was really bad, I would have thought it was like indefinitely or something. But the fact that they're saying 2 weeks makes me think like we can give that as like a buffer zone. And we think by then it should hopefully be, close to 100%. But I guess you never really know, especially like this whole pod has been about like just injury, misinformation or lack thereof of any information. So it's disappointing, but I guess, in another sense, we get to see now, like Rob is available to play tonight. So it's like, what's this rotation now going to look like? We want to like get some of these other guys in here. I know we were going to talk, what are some of like our key Wolves observations just through 3 games, and the rotation, I think just every night it's been just something different. and here we are tonight. Before we came on, they're like, Mike Conley's going to start, which I think we all probably expected he would. But now it's like, are you going to just play this dude 35 minutes now? Because as I watch this team this year, you're kind of like, I'm just looking for things. What could make this different than the previous seasons? And boy, it started out with all the hits being played, looking like the exact same shit we've been watching for the last few years. And if Finch isn't going to play these guys, these young guys, we're going to be in the same situation. So I got my eyes on Finch here again tonight. I mean, what was it last night? Shannon didn't really play in the second half. It's like, what are we doing here? You know, you got to develop these guys, man. Pissing me right off.
Yeah, I think the biggest observation for me, like more of a positive one, is the guys from the trade last year. I said before the season I've become a Julius Randle stan, and that just remains true for me. He's playing some great ball right now, averaging 25, 6, and 6, 47% from 3, low turnovers. I'm just loving the consistency. I know we harped on that on our Wolves preview pod last week, where we need more consistency out of Nas and Jaden, but we're getting it out of Julius. And then Dante, tough first game. He had like 6 turnovers in 20 minutes. But since that first game, he has 1 turnover in the last 2 games. I'm sure that'll be a jinx before this goes live in about a half hour here. But
why would you say that?
I know. That's what we do. Almost 40%. It is almost 40% from 3. We still got to see some more consistency out of him. But I think, after that first game, he's been solid so far as well.
Jake, what's your I was gonna say, what bright spot? What would be your number one?
It's probably been Julius's play too. That's probably my favorite one. But otherwise, something different that has been said is Bones just coming off the bench and kind of being a little spark when he's just got like the last addition to the roster kind of a thing. He's come in and just played very well. And I think that's going to be a guy who gets a lot of Ants minutes these next 2 weeks, as long as he keeps playing good and smart. So I don't know. I've been liking him a lot. Clark, he's been doing good. We know he's a dog. He can lock up anything that we need. So he was locking up Pascal the other night. That was pretty sick. Just one-on-one with him in the paint.
I felt like Pascal was kind of like, who the fuck's this guy? Like, just all in my business.
Who let a kid on the court? Yeah.
and dude, Bones is only 25 years old. Like, that's the thing where he feels like he's been around forever. And he's Tim Conley's boy, man. I'm sure he's got a tear in his eye of kind of seeing him playing some winning basketball. But I think it's just kind of, it's a good team to fit in around. Like, we just need you to not turn the ball over and knock down open shots and not be a complete liability on defense. Like, just kind of handle the basics. And I feel like he's comfortable with that. And yeah, we saw him just thrown right into the fire in Portland that first game. And Portland's looking pretty frisky out there, by the way. So it's like,
yeah,
that win might, if this was college basketball, you could be like, hey, resume win over there in Portland, opening night. What up? One of the points I wanted to bring up about just the start, again, like when we've been to 2 Western Conference finals back to back. The first year we were in the mix for the 1 seed up until like the final weekend. And then last year was, it was up and down all over the place, found a way to avoid the play-in, kind of got hot at the right time, playoff risers, all that stuff, all the bad habits kind of go by the wayside. It's like, all right, let's fucking lock in. And, Steph got injured. That helped for sure. But the run it back style or approach that they took with the offseason, especially with what we knew with the point guard position and being a huge need after just running into a brick wall in OKC, we're like, well, we got continuity this year. We're running it back. Other than Nikhil, who's one of the 7th or 8th guys in the rotation, like we should be able to hit the ground running. And then what do we see? Like these first 3 games, it's like all sorts of different lineup combinations. Dante's thrown into the starting lineup against a team that pressures 94 feet. We don't have anyone to dribble the ball up. We end up with Bones in there to like kind of bail us out. Rob doesn't play at all. And we're just kind of yanking the minutes around of a lot of the younger guys. And I'm just like, you know what? I don't know that continuity is really showing up as a factor right now. I mean, it's 3 games in, but you guys feel the same?
I feel like Finch is just trying to find a 5 that kind of works here and there. A little see what the chemistry is about. He doesn't really know for sure either because he didn't play any of these people last year because he only stuck to his 8-man rotation. So at least he's opening it up a little bit and at least giving these guys some minutes early. So I think that's kind of what they're doing. They're just kind of throwing them out there, see how it fits, see what sticks, and then just kind of trying to run that back. But then when we see Mike out there, man, Mike's he's bad. Like that's like the one big thing out of these first 3 games where I'm just like, I don't know about this, which sucks too, because that's the biggest problem going into this season was the point guard. We're a point guard away from the championship, and then our main point guard is probably a little bit over the hill now.
It's interesting. Like I almost wonder if like the other coaches are just saying, hey, when old man Mike Conley gets the ball, you got to just pressure him. And it's interesting though, because like there are old point guards in the league still. Like Chris Paul's still in the league, Westbrook's still in the league. But Mike, Father Time might have just caught up to him. That is kind of tough to see. I think you got to just still cut his minutes a little bit more. Bones has been awesome so far. I know you mentioned him earlier. Give a couple more to Clark. Like Clark was playing like 15 minutes, I think, last night. He can play 20. TJ barely played last night. He can play more. But again, it comes down to who can handle the ball. And Chris is until he's finding that, is just going to keep playing Mike.
Yeah, I think one of the things too that's been impacting some of the rotations is just how bad Nas has played in those first 2. Where you're like, shit, I don't know that I can go to this guy in Portland, where it's like it's a close game. Put your feelings aside. I got to get the guys out here who can help win us this game. And like Shannon was involved in that, and then here he is on Sunday, kind of getting in the doghouse a little bit. So I think, Jake, you're right. Trying to find those combinations. That's been a thing that surprised me, is like Jalen Clark being kind of more relied upon than like Shannon, Mike, even Nas throughout these first 3 games. And Clark, we've seen it. Like if you just watch him play, like he's a coach's wet dream. A fucking like doesn't really make mistakes, locks in on defense, and that's another reason he's getting in. Our point of attack defense has been awful. Like our defense, especially with Rudy out, it's like we're just kind of easing our way into the season. Like, let's not break our backs yet, guys. We may not still be in shape or whatever the reason is, but guys are just blowing by us off the dribble on the perimeter. And
defensive rating in the Lakers game was the worst we had even of all of last season. It would have been the worst out of all 82 games last year. So it's been abysmal. That's the other thing too when you're talking about getting these bad games. Like game 1, we had Mike's been the bottom guy every game, but then it's like the first game was Dante, second game was Nas, last night's game Jaden was horrific. It's just like if we need all of our main 7 to get out there and do something, we just can't have a night where it's like, well, I guess he didn't show up, especially now that Ant's out. It's just going to be almost impossible to win if that keeps happening.
Yeah.
It boils down to that consistency. Yeah, Nas and Jaden, like you mentioned, you got to have consistent play. I harped on it last week and a little bit earlier. That just has to be the case.
Yeah, and you know what? With the easy schedule, hopefully here with Ant out, maybe this can get these 2 going a little bit, because their inconsistency, when your goal is a championship, it's hard to continuously put up with them kind of just being the same player year after year after year. You know what I mean? Like Nas, you got paid. And I know he's got some off the court stuff, and he's like everybody's favorite. We love him. Mm-hmm. We want to keep seeing this dude, shining on the court. When he gets hot, man, that he even more than Ant can get that crowd going when he's cooking. And, he had a real big moment for us in that Lakers series at home. So you got to have patience with him, but I'm always thinking down the road of like the way this team is. If you want to put yourself in that contender mix, the trade that would happen would be for a point guard. I think we all know that that's an issue, and it's going to probably have to include like a Nas in the trade or Jaden, one of those 2. Throw in a Dante, throw in some picks or Shannon, whatever. Does that get you Darius Garland? Does that make you better? These are the things I'm thinking about, because or Derek White. I think he's in like the 35-ish million a year, which is such a good contract for him. Like that means the price for him is going to, like, I don't know that we even got that. We don't got the war chest for that, but I'm just thinking, like, if shit continues to go like, hey, we're the 4 seed. Now we're down to the 7, kind of just in and out of that play-in spot. And it gets to be January. Wouldn't surprise me if those things are on the table. And we've already seen Tim just trade Carl right before the season. So it's like,
nobody
feelings aside,
nobody besides Ant is safe. Yeah. But I also feel like we don't need an all-star, all-pro point guard. I feel like we can settle for maybe a top 20 point guard, not one of the top 5 in the league. But I don't know. Well, I guess we'll see when time comes what's actually available and stuff. But I don't feel like we need a drastic, big-time blockbuster move. I feel like a B-plus star could come in here and be just fine for the cost of like a Dante, Robin, maybe a first or something like that.
Yeah, but that's what we got to do in the meantime is experiment. Like throwing we're probably going to see what we don't want to see tonight. Throwing Mike in there for 30 minutes just gets you nowhere. You're treading water or going backwards. And it's we love Mike, man, but he has looked like he's turned into dust. And we thought that last year, and then he kind of found a second like wind, I guess, maybe midway through the season. But like you can't throw him out there against Oklahoma City. So they tried Dante as like a starter. That's a nightmare in that matchup against OKC. So like I don't think no trial and error is going to change anything about that unless he just like completely changes his handle in the next 5 months. Ain't not going to happen. So it's like try Shannon at the 1. Like you've got to get Rob in there, or maybe it is Bones who has, we see it all the time in the NFL nowadays with Baker Mayfield and Darnold and Danny Dimes. Like maybe Bones is just like, hey, I had a slower growing curve, and it took me a little while to mature or whatever. And now I'm ready to be a contributing point guard and understand. I think part of his issue maybe coming up, and I feel like a lot of guys go through that. You're told how good you are your whole life, and he's never really been accepting of a role. And maybe now is the time where he's like, hey, man, I don't need to be the star here. Let me just get in where I fit in. And, I'll have my moments. Hopefully tonight, 3,100 on DK. That's neither here nor there. But you got to try stuff out. Like the Conley stuff is like just kind of falling back on old habits. And here we are tonight about to do the same thing. So that's, you got to try some other things, but.
One thing, other two with the injuries, we usually somewhat find like every time we get somebody that gets hurt on the Wolves, it's like something pops up. Like we found Nas when Cat went down. Like when I can't remember who was hurt last year. Julius got hurt, and then Nas even stepped up again too. Like people do step up when somebody gets hurt around here. So it's not always just like somebody's hurt and then we're just dead in the water. Like hopefully something good comes out of this. So we'll see who takes the spot and actually can earn something here. Maybe get some playing time in that rotation.
Rudy did on Sunday. He was the guy who was like, dude, I got an advantage here. And he just beat those boys up in the lane. And of course, got hit in the head
19 rebounds, I think he had.
Yeah, he was looking good, man. Rudy's like, I know it's easy to hate on him. And we all can see why. Because just visually, it's like, oh, the guy can't even catch. And he's just missing layups. And just a goofy looking dude. But it's like, when he's not out there, our defense really struggles. And look, I mean, he can make a fucking impact. Look what he did to those Lakers in that series clinching game. He sent those boys so desperate they had to go knocking on DeAndre Ayton's door. You know what I mean? So, like, it happens.
Side note on that guy is going to be the funniest player to watch this year. Oh my God, that was like the best part of watching that beatdown they gave us on Friday night was just clowning on DeAndre Ayton because he is hilarious.
He actually had a good game last night, but
yeah,
who didn't? The Sirs were just letting anybody do as they please. Any other, I guess, empty the notebook type notes on the Wolves here? I do want to get into some NBA gambling and talking some Sirs here. I didn't want to lead with that, just even though we are the leaders in the space against these Sirs. But the gambling story, I don't even know what day that came out. I guess it was the day after we beat Portland. So it would have been Thursday. you wake up and Portland's coach has been arrested by the FBI. Well, how about that? So you got this big gambling story. I don't know how deep this is all going to go.
Mm-hmm.
It sounds like I'm not reading the whole indictment. Even it's only 40 pages, but like for me, that may as well be 4,000. So I'm just trying to consume it within interviews and stuff like that. And it sounds like a lot of these guys that were indicted are probably going to, they'll talk like, so, this may open up Pandora's box a little bit and see who's all involved. But I think we've been this isn't the first time even for the NBA that there's been corruption going on we saw the Donaghy shit happen. And now we're going into this season now. We're not even a week into it. And the free throw numbers for these guys, like SGA set a record through 2 games. I think they're let me pull up this X, but it was basically to surmise was just like the amount of like double digit trips to the free throw line last year. Like we're already like 16% of the amount that was all of last season.
Right.
So forgive me for being suspicious as we watch all this fucking flopping going on. And it really does feel like the consensus around, like just on X, I know you can feel like you're in a bubble a little bit, but no one wants to see this shit, right? Like this is not the sport we want to watch at all. We got a heavy dose of it Friday with Luka. They would have beat the shit out of us anyway. They were making every shot. But like, when's this going to end? Like, I know Silver probably feels like he's got bigger fish to fry with the gambling shit going on, and Congress, even in a shutdown, is like submitting like that they need to hear a response from him or something somehow. So it's just like we're gonna have priority. Well, to me it is. But like I'm not gonna be surprised. Like I feel like if there's some sirs involved, wouldn't surprise me in the slightest with what we've been seeing.
Right. I want to touch real quick on that, on like the Chauncey and the whole the rest, all that stuff. You mentioned like how deep does this go? That's exactly what I had written down too. You see the NBA report on all this, and they're like, "Oh, we did an investigation, found nothing," and then whatever platform you see this report on immediately tells you the betting lines or some parlay about or some game tonight. Like, hey, these are the lines on this game. This is what FanDuel says, and then they're like, "Hey, sign up for whatever betting site you might have. Oh, here's 30% off." It's just a complete disgrace. You can just tell there's no way that some higher ups aren't involved in this. It definitely goes deeper than what we've just seen over the past week.
Did you hear their response about the investigation? Just trying to say that they don't have the resources of the FBI. Like, we can't look at your texts and all this other stuff. It's like, okay, I mean, I guess I can understand that, but
well, then why are you investigating anything? Like,
we already have this situation going on with the Clippers that they can't wait to sweep under the fucking rug. Yep. So it's like, don't tell me you're out here thoroughly investigating all this shit, and it'll come out, man, at some point. Like these sirs, it may not be that they're gambling on stuff necessarily, but this is all coming down from the man at the top, how he wants the game called. He's telling us to our faces. I don't care if you even watch the games. Go watch the fucking highlights. If you can't afford the 19 subscriptions, fuck you. That's the message I'm getting from Silver. And so 100%. He wants these highlights. He doesn't want anybody playing physical defense. And so they're rewarding all the flopping to try to create space. Or again, I don't know why he is mandating this. And the reason I'm confident that he's the one at the controls is because we see it change. Remember, was it 2 years ago? Remember, it was like after the All-Star break, all of a sudden, like fouls were way down. Like he can do that. He can put his thumb on the scale, and we've seen him do it. So hopefully we can get enough outrage at some point for him to turn the fucking dials a little bit. Because all we're seeing, like half the X shit I see on my, or NBA shit I see on X is people shitting on SGA, as they should. So it's like, good. The people are sick of this shit.
I know we usually save the shout outs, but because we're on this subject, you mentioned the main, like, I guess, X accounts that are tweeting this stuff out, like, hey, Austin Reeves had 50 points. SGA had 55 points. They're shoving it right in your face too. They're like, yeah, we know and we don't care. That like one of my shout outs was going to be about like Reeves, SGA, these guys, all the flopping little shit that's celebrated online. They're for just being unethical. And like, look, the flopping's been happening for years. And the worst guys, like in the past, I always think of Harden. I think of Embiid. He's still kind of at it a little bit. They've just never made it to the mountaintop. Yeah, right. They've never made it to the mountaintop. They've never won a championship. But the stuff now is just so over the top. It's egregious as ever. Like, it's worse than we can say flopping's been around for years. It's as bad as it's ever been.
It's an art form now, and it's a disgrace.
Right. And the NBA as a whole, Silver, they have an opportunity to fix it, as you said. It doesn't happen in the Olympics or FIBA, college, and if it does, it's not anywhere nearly to the degree that it is in the NBA now. It's as bad as ever. These guys are being celebrated, scoring 50 points. Like, that used to mean something when you had a big game, 50 points, 40 points, whatever. And now it's like, oh, by the way, he shot 22 free throws. He shot 26 free throws. It's absurd. And then, last night you have an SGA game where he scores 30 and he had 4 free throws. And all these people online that will defend this stuff are like, well, where are the haters now? Well, first, we should be quiet when the game is played that way, but go back and look at the tape. He still had a highlight reel of falling to the ground on multiple jump shots, trying to bait it, and they weren't calling it. So I say at least credit on them, but it's not like he's not trying to. And they had a chance to take care of this after the finals. Like, it was so evident to everyone. No one likes watching this shit, and they choose to let it get even worse. They're choosing this right now, and the league just seems to be in a bad place.
Yeah, unfortunately, it sounded like they did well ratings wise for that opener or the opening week. I didn't see the exact measurements, but I also was like, what are we measuring here? Streaming? I feel like you can make those numbers cloudy if you want them to read a certain way. So I just feel like the basketball community in general is just starting to get further and further out on it. And I can just look at my own, interests. Like, I'm as big an NBA fan as there is, and I'm at the end of my fucking rope watching this shit. So it's like, if I'm not going to sign up and continue watching, then imagine the casuals.
Right. Yeah, I used to be too, and I haven't watched NBA in at least half the season last year. I quit. I just couldn't take it anymore. But I feel like going back to like why they don't want to stop this is just because that's who people are talking about on all the social medias. They're talking about Luka. They're talking about Brunson. They're talking SGA, Reeves. These are the popular players and the popular jerseys. So it's just all money to them. And that's all they see. Mm-hmm. That's all they care about is the money. So why would you stop that? That makes no sense to why would you ever stop that? If that just keeps growing and growing that way. And I feel that's why there's going to be nothing and they won't ever do anything because there's too much money behind it. And that's their star players.
It's interesting. It's almost like
that's your MVP. That's your champions. Like, why would they be like, okay, yeah, no, we're not going to do this anymore. That just makes them look dumb and bad.
Yeah. Like the rage baiting. Like, look at all this flopping, driving all this interest. It's like, is it interest?
Same with the ESPN.
Well, it's engagement. Yeah. This is the model, I guess, of this era in sports.
Nobody talks about the top 5 players in the NBA when you have the correct list. When you leave Ant off the list, then that's when people start talking about it and it gets popular. So it's just stupid making stupid people popular on social media. That's the whole thing. It's social media, actually.
Yeah. What? So if that is the case, and that's definitely 100%. It's always all about money. What does it take to change it? Does it just take like a player like starting a brawl? Like, honestly, because you look at if you guys watched if you saw DeMar DeRozan's clip after the game last night talking about how it was like 44 free throws to 18 for the Lakers. And I saw some of those Reeves highlights. We all know what kind of ball player he is. 22 free throws for him to the other team's 18. Like,
and that's DeMar saying that, who's another guy who's a free throw. Like, I wouldn't necessarily put him as a flopper, but he's a pump fake jump into you all goddamn night type of a player. Right. And he's saying it.
Embellisher.
Like, boy, we have come a long way here.
Mm-hmm.
So what's it going to take? Like,
I don't know.
I mean, we got to have people speaking out. We need a
taking a
Nafisa
piece of
Collier.
Collier.
We need
Yeah,
a hero.
exactly. That's
Finch,
what's going to take.
go ahead and do it.
So take somebody
Like-
big, so actually has numbers that can say it. And there's going to be other people that's going to have to come in with it too. It's not just going to be like one person just complaining about the refs at the end of the game, because that's never it. That happens every week in every league.
Usually against OKC is where you see like the biggest blow-ups on social media.
But it's also, we need to use some of the momentum in the NFL as well. I've been seeing even a lot more animosity at the Sirs, even in the NFL this year compared to other seasons. We saw that shit with Detroit a couple weeks ago on a Sunday night, where like New York's just calling in, like, you know, let's just fix this, even though nobody threw a flag. There's like a minute and a half between touchdown and PAT, and then they're like, no, we're huddling up, and then they threw the flag.
Yeah.
It's like, man, you guys aren't even hiding it good at all. I mean,
The tush push thing yesterday.
There was a play
Clearly
in
a fumble.
in the Tampa Bay Saints game. I'm sure most of you did not see it because you're just not degenerates with a
Lucky you.
with a money line bet on Tampa. Just pervy as all hell. But there was a Shaheed. He catches a pass, clear fumble. Antoine Winfield picks it up, takes it to the house. Irrefutable. But then they're like, oh, there was a whistle blown. So they like marked it at the spot of the recovery. Took 7 off the board. And you're like, there was no whistle at all. Everybody kept running. The play completely played out. And they took 7 off the board, which I mean,
I was just going to say, there's
if you're betting on that too, like over unders, all the spreads, stuff like that.
Yep.
I mean, the shit just stinks to high fucking heaven.
I was just going to say, there's your inconsistency with the officiating as far as like if a whistle's blown, because with that Giants one yesterday, that's what they were talking about. Like, we didn't hear a whistle. Jalen Hurts was still moving forward. That ball was popped out. Like, when is enough? And if you can't, as far as that play goes, people wanting to ban the tush push, if you can't even call it correctly, there's some of your evidence right there, because somebody finally broke through and said, all right, this is how we have to stop it. Just dive at the ball if you get a chance. And yeah, it was the same thing. Oh, there was a whistle. Well, I don't think anybody heard one.
Yeah. It's an ongoing war. And there's people on the right side of this. And I'm telling you, there will be shit that comes out at some point. It's too often like the same people always benefiting. You know what I mean? And to me, that's what's the word. And you mentioned the Lakers. There are so many stats of Laker free throws that predate like all the guys on their rosters. Like the fact that they've shot the most free throws compared to anyone in the league by a fucking landslide for like years and years and years. Like before LeBron, before Luka, before Austin Reed, like they just get the calls. So it's like, dude, you guys aren't fooling anybody with this bullshit. And it's the whole house of cards is going to come crashing down at some point, and I'll be there ready to see it. Unfortunately, we can't let all the millions and millions of people tuning into the live stream know about what really goes on with our plans for these Sirs, but leave it at that. All right, we got to get to shout outs and we got to get the fuck out of here to watch Mike Conley just shoot a couple right-handed floaters. Jake, do you have a shout out for the people? All 3 of these people in this feed.
In the absolute atrocious weekend that was with Minnesota sports, probably my favorite thing is just the Trees jerseys are back, the old school court, the new lighting. That was just all so awesome. I'm just love every bit of that. So as shitty as the sports are, at least
we look good.
The eye test, it looks cool, looks neat. So we got that going for us, which is pretty fun.
Yeah. If you're gonna get your ass beat, you better be looking good while you do it.
Better be looking good though, yeah.
Yeah, the players sounded like they all loved it too. So keep it around forever. Think about that. What do I know?
Imagine that. My only other shout out was back to the NFL a little bit. Just shout out the AFC North for just being so terrible. Cincinnati just lost to the Jets in just dramatic fashion yesterday, and then Pittsburgh lost to the Swine. And the way I look at this though is, if we need somebody to dethrone the Chiefs, the teams we mentioned at the beginning of the year, one of them is in that division, and it's the Ravens. And they're 2-5, but they're only 2 games out of the division. These teams had a chance to really make that lead uncomfortable and not be able to claw back. But I think there's a good chance they can come back and win that division when Lamar comes back. So that should be an interesting watch the rest of the year.
They are favored to win that division. By the way,
that's crazy. That's crazy.
Tells you all you need. 2-5. They were like a couple good Caleb drives from just, folding the tent. And now they're like, hey, we might be hosting a first round game.
Right.
Which I hope they do. Like that
sure.
AFC, like we need the Ravens to be involved just for entertainment's sake. I'm not trying to watch Aaron or what other teams are going to scratch their way into the playoffs. I mean, it looks good now. Some of these teams, it's like, once we get to playoff, like Daniel Jones, I mean, we just saw it with Darnold. Like, it's nice having a good regular season and all that, but it's like, dude, once it gets to, the big stage, I don't know that he's going to.
Hey, he's won a playoff game. Come on. Come on, guy.
Ed Donatel lost a playoff game. Correction.
Sure did.
I have 2, and then do you guys have any more? And then we can
I'm good.
Dip.
Nope.
First one I mentioned earlier, shout out Al Michaels, just keeping it a buck with the NFL. More just shit coming up from the ivory tower, the C-suite. He mentioned Will's only miss of the year, hit a wire over in London. Was it London or was that in Dublin? I can't recall exactly which one. Those Euro trips.
That one might have been Dublin.
Just fuck me.
They're all the same.
Europe, we'll call it. And then shortly into the third quarter, he then comes on the mic and is like, it was an optical illusion. It wasn't actually like, and you could tell he was kind of tongue in cheek saying it. And it's like, dude, he kind of just like threw them under the bus. Is like, as soon as you expose the NFL for any of their bullshit, like they will be up your ass in about 10 seconds for looking for a correction. So I like that he was just like, whatever, man. Optical illusion, sue me, whatever. I'm like 5 decades in the game, dude. You're not gonna say shit to me that's gonna scare me at all.
That's right.
I appreciated that because that definitely hit a wire. The one on Thursday against the Chargers, I think that was just he just laid the sod over that. Like I was really scanning in because I'm like, man, if that happened twice, I really would have been pissed off.
Lightning strikes twice.
But I couldn't really see it. So it was just very peculiar that he was that short, but then you could see, not that typically you're going to be seeing like, hey, give me 8 angles of this kick. It's like, if you miss it, move on. But it looked like he did fat it pretty good.
Yeah, so. If there's a divot, it'd been about 4 inches behind the ball. So
amazing. He got it as far as he did.
Amazing. He got it. Yeah, if anything, he kicked it pretty far.
And we might be looking at him as our only Pro Bowler at this stage. So tough news. And then my last one, I got to just shout out to the Minnesota Golden Gophers.
Oh boy.
Congrats on being the most pointless program in maybe all of America. Like, what's even the point of this team at all? And yeah, they had a vote last week. They threw it right down the drain. That one vote is gone. It'll never be back. 5-3 on the year, 0-3 on the road. And that includes all of 2 field goals these last 2 games against Ohio State and Iowa. So I'm just like, dude, why do we even do this? Like, I just don't understand how people even care about this team at all. And I know the whole situation of like, well, PJ wants to stay here. You could try to get a better coach. He'll just leave. So we're just stuck in limbo forever. 7-4 in the Motor City Go Fuck Yourself Bowl. Like watching it on December 23rd. I just can't really. I say this, it's like a Jake Paul fight. Every time I watch one, I'm like, never again. There's no point to this at all. And here I am watching, like, I mean, they at least knocked us out in like the first quarter, but I guess, if you're into that team, God bless you. You probably, it's good community. You probably went to school there. You got a lot of buddies that you get together with, tailgate. I'm sure that's fun, but let's not pretend that any of this football means anything at all, other than maybe some guys getting to the NFL or just turning some kids into young men, like PJ wants to say. Roll the ball. It's like, dude, we haven't won shit since 91. I can't really be fucking around with this nonsense year after year. Is it because we just want to watch a little ball on Saturday? Maybe just have it on. I don't know, but I think I'm fucking done forever, which now guarantees them a golden path forward. So all credit to me.
Well done.
You're welcome, guys. That's all I've got this evening. Anybody else? Any final thoughts before we go lose to Denver by how many? I'm gonna say 16.
Oh, 2 more than me.
I'm gonna say Bowen's 30-point game.
Oh, let's go.
Cha-ching.
We get the dub.
Cha-ching.
Maybe Rudy hits another sick turnaround jumper, put a dagger in him at the end of the fourth.
Oh man, I won't be able to get to bed tonight. Another 8:45 tip, like home game tip. Like fuck that. That's stupid.
Yep. That's for another pod.
Yeah. If anything, I just want to see Naz Reid get cooking. Him and Jaden. If we lose, whatever. We're 6.5-point dogs, I think, last I looked. Let's get some guys into some rhythm as we, get a little lighter schedule in the next couple weeks. So, yep. All right, gang, that'll wrap her up. Appreciate everyone for tuning in throughout the live stream. What a classic it was for all of you, one or two. Plenty more where this came from, just so you know. But yeah, we will be back next week, and go T-Wolves. Go Minnesota sports, except the Gophers. Goodbye, everyone. Take care.